Hello, so good evening, all of you. It is really great to connect with all of you. And the very purpose of this whole series is to introduce you to fundamentals of good maths. So we will be dealing with all the topics which you might have dealt with in your school, but maybe you will learn to look at those topics in a little different angle. And we want you to enjoy and keep your thinking boxes open. Your brain has a thinking box and your brain has a grasping box. So, of course, you will grasp, and we also want you to think on what you are learning. So, don't just blindly say yes. I want you to think on each and everything that I talk. We'll start because we wish to give you more and more. I'm sharing the screen and I will be explaining things to you side by side. I'll be writing a few things and we will be sending these notes to you on the group. So you need not write down all what you are seeing on the screen. Apart from that, if I'm talking something extra, if you feel like just noting down, but after the class you will expand it. Don't waste your time. Don't take your attention off the screen right now. Right. So we are starting with a very basic subject. Whenever we talk of maths, first thing what we will talk of is numbers, of course. And I'm sure all of you have done all these types of numbers, maybe sometimes in third standard, fourth standard, but this is just like a small warm up. So let us start with types of numbers. Whenever we talk of counting something, suppose I have a few apples, say for saying, and I want to count those apples. I will need numbers to count apples. So if I have apples, I will count them as 1, 2, 3. They will be called as simple counting numbers. We call them as natural numbers. The first type of numbers that we come across whenever we start talking of maths. Now I have 3 apples and I gave away all the 3 apples to somebody. Then I have no apples. This no was called as 0. And to this natural numbers, set of natural numbers, when 0 came, which indicates no value or no number, we got the next set of numbers, that is whole numbers. So what is the difference in natural numbers and whole numbers? Just this 0. Natural numbers plus 0 gives us whole numbers. Now I have 3 apples and my friend asked me 5 apples. Give me 5 apples. I have only 3 apples. Then what do I need to do? I will need to borrow 2 apples from somebody. So those 2 apples मेरे पे कर्जा हो गया है ना. I have to return those 2 apples to from whomever I have borrowed. कर्जा हो गया मतलब देना हो गया. When I have to give, that I will write as minus. That means those 2 apples are now less with me. Whenever I buy apples next time, I will have to give away 2 apples to this person from whom I got. That has given rise to a complete new set of numbers, which we call as negative numbers. And these negative numbers, along with our set of whole numbers, integers. So natural numbers start from 1 and they go infinite. 0 adds to it, it becomes the midpoint. And negative numbers, now they are going on this side infinite. I will have infinite negative numbers. There is no end to it. Now, the next set of numbers is I have 3 apples and I have to divide it in 4 people. If I had 3 apples and 3 people wanted it, I'll give one apple, story khatam. But there are 3 apples and I have to divide it in 4 people. Nobody will get full apple, no? Everybody will get a part of the apple. So that gave rise to one more type of numbers which cannot be counted as whole numbers, whether it be positive or zero or negative. Numbers that are टूटे-फूटे number, आधे है, आधे से ज्यादा है, या एक और कुछ है, दो और कुछ है. These are not complete numbers. Such numbers will be called as fractions also. We are going to do fractions as our next topic. But these numbers are called as rational numbers, and we can write these numbers in numerator upon denominator form. We can write these numbers as something upon something, like 3 apples made in 4 parts. So it is something upon something. All such numbers that can be completely expressed as something upon something, some definite parts made and some definite parts taken, they will be called as rational numbers. Of course, rational numbers will also be positive, that is going from 0 to one side, and they will also be negative, that is going from 0 to another side. And what is 0? 0 parts made. We will look at this a little later, how to look at 0 in fractions. And now this another type of numbers, the irrational numbers. How can we describe irrational numbers? Suppose I have 3 apples. And these 3 apples, these 3 apples which I have, I'm not making them into definite parts. I have taken these 3 apples and randomly made it in some parts, small, big parts, and I'm dividing it in some people. So if someone asks me, yeah, so how much did you give to this person? Then I will say maybe a little less than quarter. How much less than quarter? No, I can't say, but little less than quarter. Or little more than half. Roughly, I made it into a few pieces and I've just randomly given away these few pieces to people. I will not be able to say definitely, like suppose if I made 2 parts, what part of that I gave? I gave 1 part of it, or I gave half of it, or what? Little bit, maybe between half and 1/3, something. I will be able to roughly tell the value, but not the exact value. There are some numbers for which we are able to the value roughly. We will come to this a little later immediately. But such numbers which cannot be perfectly expressed in n upon d format will be called as irrational numbers. And all these numbers, natural, whole, integers. Now understand, when I talk of integers, integers will have natural numbers in it, whole numbers in it, and they will also have rational numbers in it. How integers will have rational numbers? We will see that also. And then irrational numbers. All these numbers put together will be called as real numbers, the numbers that actually exist. Real numbers are the numbers that actually exist. And these real numbers we are able to show on a line. We will look at what this line is called shortly after just revising what are prime composite and what are even odd numbers. All real numbers we will be able to show on a line. That line will be called as the number line, obviously. But before that, let us quickly look at this also. You know what are these prime numbers and what are composite numbers, isn't it? Prime numbers is any number that has 1 and the number itself as a factor. Meaning what? That number is divisible by 1. All numbers are divisible by 1. No doubt on that. And all numbers are divisible by itself. But prime numbers are those numbers which are not divisible by any third number besides the number and 1. All such numbers that can be divided by 1 and the number itself only will be called as prime numbers. And all the numbers which can be divided by at least one more number besides 1 and the number itself. Understand? So if it is a prime number, it will have 2 and only 2 factors. 3 can be divided by 3 and 1 and not by any third number. Whereas 4 can be divided by 1, it can be divided by 4, and it can be divided by 2 also. So all such numbers that can be divided by 1 number itself and at least one more number will be called as composite numbers. You know this. Maybe you also know then where will 1 fall? Is 1 prime or is 1 composite? 1 is divisible by 1 only. 1 is divisible by 1 only. And what is our definition of prime number? Number that needs minimum 2 divisors. And what is composite number? Number that needs minimum 3 divisors. So 1 does not fit in any of these definitions. So 1 is the only number, natural number, which is neither prime nor composite. And think of all even numbers. We all know what are even and odd numbers. Odd numbers will always leave a remainder when divided by 2. They will start with 1 series of numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 are odd numbers. And all the numbers which are completely divisible by 2 and end with 0 to 4, 6, 8 are even numbers. Now think of all even numbers besides 2. They will be divisible by themselves, by 1, and by at least one more number, 2.
2.
All even numbers definitely be divisible except 2 will be divisible by number itself, 1 and 2. So all even numbers besides 2 will have minimum 3 factors. Therefore, 2 is the only even prime number.
Yes,
all other prime numbers will be odd. I cannot have any other even number which is prime because it will definitely have minimum 3 factors. So 1 is neither prime nor composite, whereas 2 is the only prime number. Right? And now we know what are even and odd numbers. Numbers that end with 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 are odd numbers. And numbers that end with 2, 4, 6, 8, 0 are
even number.
Right? So this was a small warm-up recap. Hello to maths. And now we go for the...
So ma'am,
Yes,
I just want to ask ma'am, is 0 an even number or not?
It's basically
I can't hear you better.
Ma'am,
it's neither or neither even.
I can't hear you better.
Students are not, excuse me, students are not supposed to switch on their mic. They are not supposed to ask difficulties also during this session. If required, we will have a separate difficulty session. Otherwise, we will not be able to move and complete the content which is designed. Okay. So even if you, if you have understood or not, you can say it by raising your hand like this. Don't switch on your mic at all. Otherwise, it will be chaos. Okay. Sorry, madam. Thank you.
Otherwise, I'll keep talking, I'll keep doing the difficulties only. I have to give so much in this 1 hour, and we are so many of us. Nah? So let us make this successful. All right. Now, as I said, we can put all these numbers on a line. So I can write every number on a line, and every point on the line will show a number. Such a line will be called as the number line. Every point on the line will show a number, and every number existing in this world will have a place on this line. Such a line will be called as the number line. And as we saw, the center of the number line is 0. The number line goes infinite on the right side with positive numbers, and it goes infinite on the left side with negative numbers. Okay. Now, positive numbers, we can always have points that are at a specific distance, and maybe name these points as A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, whatever. And then what is the distance between these 2 points? For example, suppose these are all centimeters. Then the distance between this point and this point is 2 centimeters. Again 2 centimeters. Then what is the distance between this point and this point? It is 8 centimeters. How am I finding it? What is the coordinate of? It is called as the coordinate. Coordinate of this point is 8. And coordinate of this point is 0. If I want to find the distance in these 2 points, I will do 8 minus 0. If I have to find the distance between this point and this point, 0 and minus 10, I will do 0 minus 10. And we have to learn that minus becomes plus. So this is 10 units. So this is a distance 10 centimeter. Whenever I'm finding distance in 2 points on the number line, I will take the coordinate of the right side point and subtract the coordinate of the left side point, and that will be the distance. And distance is always positive. Even if I do 6 minus 14, it will come as minus 8, but distance will always be called as 8 units. I can never say distance is negative. Distance is always positive. So it is a positive difference of their coordinates. The distance between any 2 points on the number line, just subtract the coordinates and take the value positively. Whenever we go to the left side, it is minus minus. Whenever we go to the right side, it is plus plus. Suppose I have to add 2 plus 6. What am I going to do? 2 plus 6 ahead of that. That will be 8, jumping on the right side. Plus 2 plus 6 is jumping on the right side. Then plus 2 minus 6 will be jumping on the left side. I want you to do these kind of jumps with the number line, draw a number line, do additions, do subtractions. And this is a point √3. Just now we said that we cannot show such points on the line. And I have clearly shown this point on the line. We are going to learn a technique by which we will be able to exactly show points like √2, √3 on the number line, maybe in the last topic of our series. Okay, so right now, let us go ahead with the number line concept. I am going to give you some good questions for practice, and we will discuss them next time. Whatever you can do by yourself, you should keep trying it always. Let us look at one sample example. P and Q are 2 distinct points on a number line. If the number associated with point P is minus 3, that means we are calling this point as P. P is 0.3. And distance between P and Q is 5 units. Understand? Distance can be on this side also and this side also. If it is 5 units on the right, it
So it
will
will
be
be 2.
minus 3 plus 5. What is minus 3 plus 5? It is as good as 5 minus 3, 2. I go 5 places on the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I land on 2. It can
Yes.
be minus 3 minus 5 also. Then I will land on minus 8. So both the distances will be 5 units. So I can find the distance if the number of units is given. I can, if I'm given the distance, I can find the number of units. Okay. So we will do a few good questions on number line as we go ahead as much as possible. Now this another very important thing. Many times you have these kind of questions. How many numbers are there from 2 to 5? When I'm saying from 2 to 5, I'm counting 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 numbers. So I'm including 2 and 5. From 2 to 5, I have 4 numbers. And how I counted? 5 minus 2, last number minus first number plus 1. How many numbers from 2 to 5? 4 numbers. Last number minus first number plus 1. And how many numbers are there between 2 and 5? Only 3 and 4, 2 numbers. How do I count them? Last number minus first number minus 1. So whenever they are asking from, you will include the corner numbers. Whenever they are asking to, you will include only the middle numbers and remove the corner numbers. These are the formulae for from numbers and between numbers. Okay. Then we are going to do some more sums of this type also. I'm sure you must have done all these sums sometimes in the lower standards. So I'm going a little fast. We will do 1 or 2 sample sums on this. This is another type of number game that we can play. Find the number of numbers by using the digits 2, 3, 5. How many 3-digit numbers greater than 500 can be formed, such that each digit occurs only once? See how many conditions they are giving up. I want 3-digit number. I love to make trains. So I'm making a 3-compartment train because I am having a 3-digit number. 1 in hundreds place, tens place, units place. Now the second condition is I want the numbers to be greater than 500. So can I make 3 and 2 sit in the hundreds place? I cannot, because then the number will not be greater than 500. If I want the number to be greater than 500, I have only one option for the hundreds place, 5. After this 5 is written, now I have 2 numbers. Both these numbers can sit in the tens place. So for tens place, I have 2 options. For hundreds place, I had only one option. For tens place, I have 2 options, 2 or 3, both can sit. And now, if 2 comes in the tens place, I have only one option for the units place 3. And if 3 comes in the tens place, I have only one option for the units place 2. So my number of options for units place is only 1. Understand that I'm giving you a formula. For my hundreds place, I have one option. For my tens place, I have 2 options. And then for my units place, I again have one option.
One option.
Can make totally only 2 such numbers which are greater than 500 and which are 3-digit and in which each digit comes only once, 532 and 523. We can make innumerable such problems with different conditions. You can construct such problems yourself and have a great time. Never wait for someone else to give you a problem. then k is an even number, which is the third odd number before k. If k is an even number, k plus 1 will be an odd number, and k minus 1 will also be an odd number. And third odd number. Now k minus 1 is odd. There will be one more even number in between. That will be k minus 2. K minus 3 will be the second odd. K minus 4 will be the even. And k minus 5 will be the third odd number before k. How did I find it? I took the number before k and subtracted 4 from it, because I want the second odd number before k minus 1 or the third odd number before k plus 1. Understand that when I jump from one odd number to another odd number, there is a gap of 1. So it is always a jump of 2, 2. So k is an even number. Next odd is k plus 1. Either I find the sixth number before k plus 1, or I find the fourth number before k minus 1. We can do many problems of this type also. Take any number and find the number of odd or even numbers before or after that number. I would want you to carefully study whatever we have talked after today's lecture. Okay, and I want you to do these two questions. I will send the notes. How many odd numbers are there from 32 to 51? Try and do this question at home. And how many multiples of 3? What is the meaning of multiples? Numbers divisible by 3 between 32 and 51. Now, I don't want you to count these numbers. I want you to make formulae for these such kind of questions. Don't count them mechanically, because okay, mechanically you can count for a small gap. If I ask you how many odd numbers are there from 332 to 551, are you going to count? You need a formula. So try to make a formula for this. This is where training for M. Prakash begins. That we will always try to find some generalization, some formula, think over the problem more than the given number. All right. All of us know what is plus, minus, into, and divide, isn't it? Addition is just the total of two numbers. Subtraction is the difference in two numbers. Multiplication, we all know it is multiple addition. When I add 2, 2, 2, 3 times, I am as good as multiplying it by 3. And division is when I subtract 2 or subtract 1, 1, 2 times or 3 times, I'm dividing 3 by 3. So division is multiple subtraction and multiplication is multiple addition. Now these two terms, we have seen the number line. On the number line, I will have the same number on the left hand side and I will have the same number on the right hand side. I will call these two numbers as opposite numbers. Numbers that occupy the same place on both sides of the number line are opposite numbers. And similarly, I will have fractions in which I will have the same two numbers in n and d. I will have 2 upon 3 also, and I will have 3 upon 2 also. What is happening? N and d are swapping their places. Such numbers will be called as reciprocals. And the numbers which have opposite signs but same number will be called as opposite numbers. And in multiplication, you know that if I am multiplying 2 by 3, then answer is called as product. The number that multiplies is multiplier and a number that gets multiplied is multiplicand. You must know these terms which we need to do some questions. Okay, I'm sure all of you know this, that you're attending maths workshop means you like maths, isn't it? And if you like maths, you must be knowing these basic things. Now for division, we all know that if I'm repeatedly subtracting a number from another number, I will call it division. So 12 divided by 3, I get 4. When I divide 3 4 times from 12, that is 12 divided by 3, 4 times, that is answer will be 0 here. When I am dividing, what remains is 0. When 0 remains after repeated subtraction, that 0 is called as the remainder of division. And suppose if I divide 12 by 5, I will be able to divide 12 minus 5 will be 7. I can divide it one more time. 7 minus 5 is 2. Now can I subtract 5 from 2? I cannot. So when I divide 12 by 5, this is not a complete division. Something remains. That is called as the remainder. I cannot equally divide 12 by 5. There is some portion that remains undivided. That divided portion is called as the remainder. And how many times I could divide? I could divide 2 times. That 2 times is called as the quotient. What did I divide? 12. That is divided. And by what I divided? 5. That is divisor. So in division, we have these 4 terms coming. We write division like this. This is the dividend which gets divided. This is a divisor that divides. Then the quotient, how many times I could divide. And the portion that remains undivided is remainder. And when I multiply the quotient by the divisor and add the remainder, I get the dividend. 5 into 2, 10 plus 2 gives me 12. Quotient multiplied by divisor plus remainder gives me the dividend. And when the remainder is 0, we say that the dividend is completely divided by the divisor when the remainder is 0. And when the division is not complete, we will have some remainder which is not 0. So all the terms clear: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, opposite numbers, reciprocals, and meaning of division, meaning of remainder. All right. Now, this is our toolbox for today. We have just revised a few things, and now we will do a few practice questions today, and then you will have a few practice questions to do at home. So let us go to the first practice question. What is the total of all odd numbers between 50 and 60? Carefully see how I am doing these questions. Carefully see how I am doing these questions. You are going to think more on this and do the questions and the homework questions after you go. You've already gone home after you finish the lecture till our next lecture. So the first question is now, what is the total of all odd numbers between 50 and 60? I can always list this, isn't it? It's not a very big question. I can always write all odd numbers between 50 and 60 and add it. उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है? No? I can add odd numbers 51, 53, 55, 57, 59. Nobody is going to write on the board. And I'll add all them. And that will be the answer. But if I give you a big gap, this was only 5 numbers. That's why I could add. If there's a big list, how am I going to do? I will need some formula. The formula for all such lists of numbers where the difference in the two numbers is constant. Let it be anything. Let the difference be anything, but it has to be constant. Here the constant difference is 2. The formula for all such additions is middle number of the series into number of numbers. The formula for all such additions is middle number of the series into number of numbers. Now, what is the middle number of this series? 55. And how many numbers are there in this series? 5. So the answer for this will be 55 multiplied by 5, that is 275. The sum of all odd numbers between 50 and 60. If said from, the answer would remain same because 50 and 60 are even numbers. So odd numbers will come from 51 to 59. The formula is middle number into number of numbers. I want you to find how to find the middle number for a long series. Here we could see that yes, 55 is a middle number. If I have 30 numbers, how will you find the middle number? Are you going to count? If I have 95 numbers, are you going to count? We need a formula how to find the middle number and how to find the number of numbers. We saw the number of numbers from 2 to 5, last number minus first number plus 1 हो गया. लेकिन यहाँ पे I can't do that. These are not continuous numbers. I need some special formula. So your homework is how to find the middle number for a long series and how to find the number of numbers for a long series. We will discuss it next class. Till then, keep thinking.
Ma'am, may I ask a doubt?
Sorry?
Ma'am, may I ask a doubt?
No, not now.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Next. The next question now. In a bundle of notes of 50 denomination, there are 50 notes. There are some notes of 50 rupees. What are the number of the notes? 17401 to 17485. So many notes are there. What is the total amount? Now, first I will need to find how many notes are there. And then I will have to multiply that by 50. How do I find how many notes? These are serial numbers from 17401 to 17485. I know the formula. Ta-dang. Last number minus first number plus 1. Why plus 1, Ray? Because in subtraction, we never consider the starting number. You remember counting numbers when you were young? Count from 2 to 5, you will say 3, 4, 5. 5 minus 2, 3, 4, 5. You never count 2. And I have to count the first note also. That is why I have to add 1. I need this note also. Otherwise, I'll get an error of 50 rupees. So I have 85 notes with me and each note 50 rupees. So the total amount will be 50 into 85, 4,250. I counted the number of notes by the formula last number minus first number plus 1 multiplied by 50 to give me the total amount. All right. Then let us see the next question. I want all of you to be alert on your marks. Don't look here and there. Only 1 hour we are spending with you. All of you, those who wish to go to IIT and all, you will have 3, 4, 4, 5 hours lectures. You have to slowly build your stamina. Now, sum of 3 consecutive even numbers is 498. What is the meaning of consecutive? Back to back, next to next. Some even numbers, say 2, 4, 6. Some such even numbers consecutive, their sum is 498. So if my number is x, first number is x, those who understand x terms can think of this. Otherwise, just think of 3 which are back to back. And their sum is 498. Find the difference in the greatest and smallest number of the set. Now see, I am taking numbers 2, 4, 6. Are they consecutive even numbers? Yes. Are they consecutive even numbers? Yes. What is the difference in the biggest and smallest? 6 minus 2, 4. Okay, let me take another set. 32, 34, 36. Are these consecutive even numbers next to next? Yes. What is the difference in the biggest and smallest? 36 minus 32, 4. And idhar bhi 4 aa gaya, idhar bhi 4 aa gaya. Let me try one more. 48, 50, 52. 4. What is happening in consecutive even numbers? Any 3 consecutive even numbers, they will have 2 gaps of 2, isn't it? Whichever numbers you take, their difference will always be 4. 3 consecutive even numbers, their difference will always be 4. Their sum may change. Sum will change. Sum of these 3 numbers is different, these 3 numbers is different, these 3 numbers is different. But difference is always 4. So you have to always think how cleverly you can do a particular question. Now in this question, if I have to find the numbers, then I'll have to use some trick. Try to find these numbers. See if you can find these numbers. We will see it next time. Difference is 4. But sum will be different. Find those numbers. Try to find which are those 3 numbers whose sum is 498, but their difference is 4. Okay. Now let us see the next question. Is everyone attentive? Everyone at the board? This is going to be a very nice question. This is going to be a very nice question. Get your attention on the board, all of you. All of you, this is a very interesting question. The cost of an eraser and a sharpener is 4 rupees 50 paise. The cost of the sharpener is 1 rupee more than that of the eraser. So if the sharpener is eraser is 1 rupee, sharpener is 2 rupees. Understand the question. The cost of the sharpener is 1 rupee more than that of the eraser. So if the eraser is 10 rupees, sharpener is 11 rupees. And what are they saying? Sharpener plus eraser is 4 rupees 50 paise. Find the cost of the eraser. There is a very easy method. This is my cheaper item. Cheaper kya hai? Eraser. So this is my eraser and this is my sharpener, long line. Short line is eraser. Look at the method. All of you, don't get restless. Don't get up from your seats. Look into the screen. Shreyas, sit and look at the screen. So eraser, the cheaper one is shorter line and costlier one is the longer line. The sharpener is how much costly? 1 rupee. So I keep that 1 rupee aside. from 450, I keep that extra cost of sharpener aside. Then what is the amount that remains?
350.
Now this 350, I will divide equally in eraser and sharpener. So 350 divided in 2, how much will I get? 3 rupees divided by
1.25.
20.
1.25.
1.25.
One
So you have to add 1 rupee and it will be 2.25.
1.75.
2.25.
1.75. Mics off, all of you. Put your mics off. Very good. Everyone is getting. I'm very happy. So now, after keeping 1 rupee aside, I have divided the remaining amount equal in sharpener and eraser. So the cost of eraser is 175 and the cost of sharpener is 175 plus 1, 2 rupees 75. Is the sharpener now 1 rupee more than the eraser? Yes.
Yes.
Is there total 4 rupee 50 paise? Yes. So there are two methods in which you can do this. Keep the extra of this aside, divide remaining in 2 equal parts, and then add the extra to the costlier item. You get both the numbers. There is one more formula that works for such questions: bigger number and smaller number. The bigger number is the sum of two numbers plus the difference of two numbers upon 2. Bigger number is sum plus difference of two numbers upon 2. What is the sum of two numbers? 4.5. What is the difference? 1. So 5.5, 5 rupees 50 paise upon 2, 2 rupees 75 paise is the bigger number, that is the sharpener. And the smaller number is sum minus difference upon 2. What is the sum? 4.5. What is the difference? 1. So 3.5 upon 2, 1 rupee 75 paise is the smaller number, that is the cost of the cheaper. This is a formula whenever there is a bigger number and sum to smaller number is sum minus difference upon 2. Your job is to find why this works. Don't just say, okay, find out why the formula works. If you use your brain, it does not get over. Use it, it gets sharpened. What should be added to 68 into 37 to make it divisible by 5? One method is a long method. I will actually do 68 into 37. Whatever the answer comes, that I will see what will be the next number. 68 into 37 is 2516. And if I want to make it divisible 5 by 5, it should end with 5 or 0. So if I want to end it with 0, I will need to add 4 to it. Then it will become 2520 divisible by 5. But is there a shorter way? This is a number that ends with 8. And this is a number that ends with 7. If I multiply any number ending with 8 by any number ending with 7, my answer will always end with 6. 8 sevens are 56.
Yes.
And for any number ending with 6, if I want to make it divisible by 5, I will need to add 4 to it.
Yes, ma'am.
So there is no need of doing this multiplication. If they ask me what is that number, I will need to multiply. But as long as they are just asking me how much I need to add, I don't need to multiply because I can compute the units digit and then I add 4 to it to make it divisible by 5. All right, let us go to the next. When a number is multiplied by 17 instead of 12, when a number is multiplied by 17 instead of 12. So there is some number I had to multiply it by 12. But instead of that, I have multiplied it by 70. I am getting an answer greater by 25. Mistake is 25. Instead of multiplying the number by 12, I am multiplying it by 70. And my answer is increasing by 25. Now, suppose the number was 1. Then the gap would have been of 5 because 1 multiplied by 12 is 12 and 1 multiplied by 17 is 17. My answer would have gone wrong by 5. But my answer has gone wrong by 25. That is 5 times of this. So what can be the number? 5 times of this?
5.
If the number was 1, the difference would have been 5. But the difference is 25. That is 5 times of this. So the number is 5. Let us check. 12 fives are 60 and 17 fives are 85.
Yes,
Is the
ma'am.
difference 25?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can
Yes.
we do this by using
Those
X?
who understand X, let the number be X.
Yes, sir.
And the difference in 17x and 12x. X multiplied by 12 is 12x. 5x is 25. So x is 5.
25 divided by 5 equals to 5.
Those who understand x and transposition, they can do it by this way. Those who don't understand x also can do it this way.
Yes.
Okay. So to solve a sum, you always don't need that standard jargon methods. If you have good thinking, you can think, and you can solve questions in your own way. And when you solve it in your own way, the pleasure is very high. Now, this is another very good question. A certain number is divided by 15, quotient is 22, and remainder is 9. Can I find the number now by my regular division
Yes.
formula?
Yeah.
It
Yes,
is going to
ma'am.
be this into this plus this. The number will be 22 into 50 plus 9. Okay. So the number comes 339. When I'm dividing 339 by 15, I get quotient 22 and remainder 9. If I divide the same number 339 by 22 now, I have changed my quotient to divisor. What will be the answer? Find it out. It comes
15.
15. Now see what has happened. Quotient and divisor have swapped their positions. Remainder is still 9. Because what is dividend? Divisor into quotient plus remainder. What difference? I write it quotient into divisor or divisor into quotient. Both cases, remainder will remain same. So when quotient and remainder divisor have changed places, remainder has remained the same. Now your homework is, will this rule apply to all questions? Are there some questions where this will not happen, where I'm exchanging remainder, exchanging quotient and divisor, remainder is changing, it is not remaining same. Will it happen? If it happens, why? Why it is worked here? Why it will not work here? That is your homework for the genius minds. Okay, I'm sure all the genius minds will not like to just blindly see what is happening. Next question. How many 3-digit numbers are divisible by 6 in all? Totally, all 3-digit numbers, out of that, how many are divisible by 6? From where do 3-digit numbers start?
100.
100.
999. Now, which is the first 3-digit number divisible by 6 after 100? it comes to 102. 17 6 are 102. And which is the highest 3-digit number divisible by 6 below 999?
998.
996.
It will be
996.
996.
996. 996.
996.
Ma'am, it is 996. Ma'am, it is
Yeah.
996.
Okay,
996.
okay, very good, very good, very good. Mic's off. So 17 into 6 is the smallest multiple of 6, and 166 into 6 is the biggest multiple of 6. So how many multiples now?
6 minus 17
minus 70
plus 1.
plus 1. Totally 150 multiples of 6. Now, how many 3-digit numbers are there? 900, no? 999, 100 to 999. There are 900 3-digit numbers, and I'm finding numbers divisible by 6. This also comes 150. So number of 3-digit numbers divided by the number gives me the answer. It has given me the answer here. Will it give an answer every time? If yes, why? If no, why?
Yes.
Every time I get the answer like this. All how many 3-digit numbers divisible by 4? Will I get the answer by doing 900 by 4? Find it out. If yes, why? If no, why? So don't just do these questions or understand these questions. You have to also think deeply on it. Then the last question for today. We've gone a little overboard because we started a little late. From next time, we will fit exactly at 1 hour. A hall 10 feet by 2.5 feet is paved with square tiles. What is the least number of tiles? I want a square tile. So what is the biggest tile, square tile I can take? That will be of 2.5 breadth. No, if I take anything more than 2.5, I cannot make a square tile. I want a square tile. So one side of my tile has to be 2.5. Another will also be 2.5. So I can choose a tile of 2.5 by 2.5. And then in 10 feet tall, how
Four
many
tiles can be
tiles?
fit.
I can only 4.
And 4 tiles.
No?
4 tiles.
So this kind of tiles, we need a little bit of
tiles.
logic.
4
We
tiles.
can do it by diagram or we can do it by simple division. 4 tiles.
4 tiles.
All right. So we have discussed addition, subtraction. We have discussed integers, jumping on a number line, how to jump on a number line. If I want to do addition on a number line, I will jump on the right hand side. If I want subtraction, I will go on the left hand side. Plus, minus. Whenever plus, go right. Whenever minus, go those many places left. See when you get negative answers. See when you get positive answers. When the plus number is big and minus number is small. When the plus number is small and minus number is big. When you get plus answers, plus 5 plus 3, minus 5 minus 3. What is happening? Here also I am doing addition. Here also I am doing addition. Here I am putting minus sign. Here I am putting plus sign. Play with the number line. Make your own observations. Scribble a lot on your maths notebook. Enjoy. Have a nice time. We will meet on Thursday. Okay, we stop for today.
Yes, ma'am.
I will send these notes and your homework for Thursday. 15
ma'am,
questions.
Ma'am,
Yes,
the 9th question is wrong. The 9th question is wrong. They didn't tell the length of the square tiles. It is 10 feet by 2.5 feet, but they didn't tell the length of the.
that we have to find, no?
No, but what is the length of the square tiles? They didn't
We
give
have
that.
to find the size of the tile.
No, ma'am, we have
Yes,
to.
ma'am.
No, ma'am, we have to find the number of the tiles, right?
Maximum. Maximum number of tiles.
Minimum number of tiles.
Minimum number of tiles.
Least.
Yes,
Minimum
ma'am.
number of tiles. If I want a square, think on it. It is right.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
if it is wrong, pinpoint it to me on Thursday. I will accept, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Bye.
Okay, done. Debate. Okay. Stop for today. I'll send the homework to you, and also today's lecture. Do the questions again. Do the homework, and we will meet on Thursday. Right?
Okay.
Thursday, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.